Home is where the hurt is. I want you to think about that sentence. For most of for most people, their childhood home is kind of like their toxic ex in a way, not gonna lie. The toxic ex that they keep going back to. Like, I was doing fine at home, I thought. Like, I was doing all the discipline habits, but it wasn't until I moved to a boarding school this January that I realized it. I realized what I just told you. This video was supposed to be recorded months ago actually, but hey, it'd only be fitting if I recorded at home. Remember I asked you to turn up your volume, right? What did that music remind you of? Staying up all night playing Minecraft? I bet that you thought of something like that. Like the late nights, like the Minecraft late nights when you were 7 equivalent. Something like that. And when you thought of it, right, you looked at it in joy. Like, I bet a lot of you looked at those moments in joy. Like, you would want to go back there. But if you lived them now, they wouldn't be any fun, right? Like just yesterday, actually, I went and played mope.io for 1 hour, which is the browser game that I used to play for. I was addicted to that shit, bro. And I went there and it wasn't any fun at all. Not only because there was obviously less players, but like my default shade of life is just more fun now, which is why I'm like so heavily against video games, because like eventually you just reach the point that I am at right now where growth and actually benefiting the world like I am through these videos is more beneficial, like not more beneficial, but like more fun. Like I find more fun and joy out of just like living life and like staring at a wall than playing a video game, like genuinely. But anyway, back to my point. Like, nostalgia is kind of a bitch, man. Like, you only remember the good parts of it. And this is a very big topic, so I'll make a separate video on it. Look forward to that. When you think of someone who's depressed, right? What do you think of? You don't imagine someone childishly climbing a tree, or like when you remember when we were kids, we used to like hop between the borders of tiles, and like if we touched the border, that would be like lava or something, and we would die, right? Like, imagine if you were doing that in like a shopping mall or like outside. Okay, that'd be pretty retarded, but like, you get my point, right? You wouldn't be depressed while doing that. You wouldn't imagine a depressed person doing that. You would imagine a depressed person in their room, like staying up till 3 a.m. playing League of Legends or Clash Royale or something like that. And yeah, that just like makes sense. I know depression is real, but I promise you that after having spoken to hundreds of young men and women combined in hundreds of hours of calls, I can promise you that 99% of people who say they're depressed, they're not like actually genetically depressed. Like 99% of these people who develop problems end up dying early. They don't go outside as much as they should, basically. Basically, they just succumb to the instant gratification habits and don't do any of the delayed gratification ones. And that's why their life just goes worse and worse. And that's kind of sad to see. I really hope that you take this path of discipline seriously, okay? Like, I promise you, everything you could want in life, like less suicidal thoughts, less feelings of depression, more hope for the future, all of it comes after you are disciplined, okay? What has felt like home for thousands of years to humans is seeing other people, not just your parents, going outside, like spending like a few hours a day in the sunlight, not being in the same four walls every waking hour, like how it used to be for me, like not waking up and then playing mope.io and being paranoid that my parents would catch me doing so past my allocated time, all right? It wouldn't be eating sugary cereal slop that Kellogg's pushed. It wouldn't be doing schoolwork half-heartedly. It wouldn't be begging for 45 minutes of computer time instead of 30 and then going to sleep. It wouldn't be any of that, okay? Just to think of what's healthy, just think of like what someone like 100 years ago would be spending their time. Obviously not like farming. You wouldn't want to be farming or anything like that, right? But you get my point, right? Just going outside more, meeting people, forming new connections, and really social connection There was a statistic that like loneliness kills people faster than smoking, and that's why even though the Japanese lived to like 100 years, even though their air is like polluted as fuck or something like that. Yeah, it's because they have communities even at an old age, so that's why they survive so long. Back to the title of the video, I'll stay in the boarding school for like 2 to 4 weeks, right? And then I'll go back to my house for like the weekend or a 1 or 2 week holiday, like I have right now, a 2 week holiday. And what I find is that like, at least for the first few days, I'm always more depressed and I go back to the bad habits, because I would say that environment is definitely linked. Environment has a huge link to your bad habits. Like this is where I cried. This is where tears fell onto my journal as I was writing this exact seat right now. Or like that bit is where I stayed up overthinking or something like that. You get what I mean? And it's where all the trauma is. You get what I mean? I don't have a specific point here, but moving out of your home like any way you can is genuinely like, it is like the OG self-improvement tactic, because like in the cavemen, right? In the caveman days, like if they didn't like the environment that they were in, they would just move to a new place instead of staying there. Like moving locations is the OG self-improvement tactic. Like even the fucking like like the Neanderthals did that as well. And that's why it's so powerful. Like if you had never moved out of home before, I recommend you do that as soon as you can. And it is genuinely such a powerful thing in your life. And I wish you could do that too. I wish you could have the same privilege as I am to even just temporarily move out of your home and start a new life elsewhere. Something I'm doing in boarding school, which I highly, highly, highly recommend you do, is I talk to at least one new person a day. I've sort of slowed it down now that I know almost everyone, but like I even had a habit tracker of it, and you can see that almost every single day is ticked, right? Like I'm telling you, the amount of opportunities and the amount of stories that you get when you talk to more people, like what can I say? It's just so powerful, and especially these stories that I can bring to you, to the camera, and speak it to you, and it inspires you and whatnot. I know this video wasn't really that inspiring, like it's all over the place. But if you got one thing from this video, is that if you had a choice between a boarding college and a college that you just drive to and then you stay, and then it's a 30-minute drive home compared to a boarding college, go to the boarding college, man. Especially if, how to say, the other college would have people from your past life, basically. What I mean is like people from your old high school or something like that. Like I would recommend you to just start a new life elsewhere. And then people will, instead of people perceiving you for how you were in year 8 or year 9, they would perceive you for how you are now, because they had never known you before. And it's a chance to start fresh, basically. Like, the number one theme of my channel is discipline, because discipline is so fucking powerful. Like discipline and practices meditating for 5 minutes every day as soon as you wake up, and 5 minutes before you sleep, socializing with one new person a day, thinking of what you're grateful for. It's this kind of discipline that will change your life. Like this chair I'm sitting on, probably a kid in China who's paid like below minimum wage made it. Like I hope his family is doing well. Like, have you ever thought of someone who thinks like that? Like, I'm grateful for my fingers. Like, imagine if I didn't have my middle finger. Not only would I not be able to point it at people, I would be able to grip things worse, right? Like, holding my phone would suddenly become a pain. You get what I mean? Sure, being at home sometimes is great. That's why it's called home. It's a place for you to rest. But I believe one of the major causes of people, again, remember that I've spoken to hundreds of young men and women on calls and spent hundreds of hours there. Easily the top 3 cause of misery upon young men and women nowadays is that they spend too much time at home and don't go outside. They don't touch grass, basically. There's no second place that people go to other than like the gym, of course, that they meet other like-minded people in, which is why I've started my Discord community and why I'm going to start a school community soon, to give you guys that place to meet. And basically my vision is that we'll have people from all around the world, and there'll just be like 4 people in the community who's in your country, and y'all can organize a meetup. And that'd be so wholesome, man, to meet other like-minded people. Because now all of us self-improvement people are like all like scattered around the globe, and we're like islands basically. So if I'd be able to connect all of you, that'd be so fucking great. Yeah, please just do those disciplined habits, okay? So you can become someone worthy of everything you want. So you can deserve everything you want. There's a reason I mention them every fucking video, okay? I've seen the changes that Dave brought to my life. And to end this video, I just wanted to share a little segment for the people who are kind of stuck at home and don't like it there. The story is a bit personal, but like if you made it until here, I think you deserve to hear it. Okay, let me think of how I'll word this. I think I'll pause here and there as I recollect my thoughts. But basically in year 8, as I said before, I was addicted to this browser game called mope.io, right? But what happened is that I would play it so much that like I would neglect other areas of my life. Like, editor, pull up that picture on the screen. And I would play it and neglect other areas of my life so much so that like when my dad would try and close, I remember my dad would try and close the laptop, right, because I was playing it too much. And then I got so mad, like it was mid-game, right? And then I got so mad that like one of his RC cars, like he has like 10 RC cars, right? And one of his favorite ones are like threw on the ground. I didn't like deliberately try to destroy it, but like I just like dropped it on the ground. And then the next day that he found out about it, like it was just like a handle came up. It wasn't like the car completely destroyed. It was just like a handle came off and like something got like partially detached. Like that was back when like I used to sleep in the same bed as him, right? So like I was still like asleep because that time he would wake up earlier than me. Like he dragged me out of bed and like by my feet, he dragged me out of bed and like my head hit the floor, right? And like he dragged me onto our balcony. Okay, it's not like the open air balcony where he can like throw you out of the balcony or something, but like he dragged me onto the balcony. And like he started beating me basically. And then I remember my mom had to come in and intervene, and it was like my dad wasn't the type to like hit my mom, right? So like my mom was basically just like shielding me, and it was like that for a few minutes before my mom like sort of dragged me out. And I guess that's part of the reason I'm so against video games, because like I've seen the end of the road of being hyper addicted to video games and where it takes you. Like you become so much more neurotic and so much more just a worse person when you're addicted to video games. And people try and cope and say like, oh, 1 hour a day of video games is fine. And sure, like you can play like 3 hours on like one weekend a month with your friends, and when you're all like, and it's something social and you hype up and you build, and your girlfriend builds a house in Minecraft or something like that, and that can be fun, right? But when you're addicted and when you claim it's 1 hour but actually it's 3 hours a day, and you waste so much time and you just become more neurotic. Because like I've seen both lives. I've played the range of 0 hours to 12 hours of video games. I've played every single number in that range. And life is just so much better when you play 0 hours of video games compared to 1. It's just like your dad who doesn't want to let go of alcohol or something like that. That's like it's something like that. Like they just don't want to let go of the video games, even though they know their life would be better without it. And then they'll attack you in the comments when you genuinely try to lead them to a better life because they can't let go of their vices. And so that's kind of sad, but yeah, if you left, I hope to leave you 2 things from this video. One is to, what was it again? To like move out of your house if you can. And 2 is to please quit video games and don't become one of those neurotic people. And I feel that it'll be hard for the first few weeks, especially you'll like find yourself uninstalling and then reinstalling and all that, but your life just becomes so much better without the video game. Any video game you're thinking of, I promise you. So yeah, we'll leave it as that. You and I, Let's stay passionate, stay sexy as well, and we'll discover just how many people will inspire.